Mr. President,
Senate Minority Leader.
I ask unanimous consent the quorum be dispensed with.
Without objection.
Now, Mr. President, last night, President Trump delivered one of the most disgraceful performances at a presidential debate that anyone has ever seen. And I don't mean that from a political perspective. I mean it from a human perspective. One can become inured to the president's tendency, meltdown, when confronted with his facts, his brazen lack of self-awareness, his stunning lack of regard for others. But it was maddening to watch the president last night, angry and small, unable to show a scintilla of respect, unable to follow even the most basic rules of human civility or decorum, unwilling to constrain a stream of obvious falsehoods and right-wing bile. Shakespeare summed up in Macbeth Trump's performance last night: a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Yes, President Trump's debate performance was, in the words of Macbeth, a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. In an hour and a half that felt like a lifetime, the president managed to insult Vice President Biden's deceased son and smear a living one, please a fringe white supremacist group, and cap the night off by yet again casting doubt on our own elections, tarnishing our own democracy. Those were just his worst moments. The rest of the debate saw the president heap lie upon lie, lies big and small, and every size in between. This president and truth don't intersect at all. Still, one moment stands out. Asked to condemn white supremacist groups like the Proud Boys, classified a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, called hardcore white supremacists by the Anti-Defamation League, President Trump demurred and then said, "Proud Boys, stand back and stand by." Stand back and stand by. President Obama once wondered rhetorically, how hard is it to say that Nazis are bad? Apparently, for President Trump, it's beyond his capacity. In a national debate, he not only refused to condemn a far-right group of violent white supremacists, he told them to stand by. As much of the country was in despair last night at the president's juvenile behavior, one group was celebrating, the Proud Boys. That's who was celebrating President Trump's debate performance, white supremacists. Within minutes of the president's comments, the Proud Boys were online, rejoicing at the tacit endorsement of their violent tactics by the president himself. They made logos out of the president's remarks: stand back and stand by. I just want to ask my Republican colleagues, how are you not embarrassed that President Trump represents your party? How can you possibly support anyone who behaves this way? Are you watching the same person that we are? Are you listening? Are you not embarrassed that millions of Americans watch President Trump and think, now that's what the Republican Party stands for now? Can't express sympathy for the families of 200,000 Americans that died from COVID. Can't go 30 seconds without interrupting someone when he's not speaking. Can't refrain from attacking someone's family and pretending not to know a person's deceased son. Can't honor the military, defend democracy, respect elections, or tell the truth. Can't even make it through the debate without emboldening white supremacists. How are you, my Senate colleagues, not deeply, utterly, personally embarrassed that Donald Trump is a Republican? How are we not all embarrassed that someone who behaves the way President Trump did last night is our president? I know I am. How about you? Again, this president is just amazing. And his speech last night, a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Now on SCOTUS. It is for this president that Senate Republicans are now rushing through a Supreme Court nominee merely days before a national election. A Republican majority that once argued that the American people should be given a voice in the selection of their next Supreme Court justice is planning to confirm a nominee in the middle of an election that is already underway. You could not design a scenario that would more fully expose the Republicans' double standard than this one. Of greater concern to the American people is how the rush by Senate Republicans to confirm this nominee will put their health care at risk. Now, yesterday, the Republican leader actually mocked the idea that a far-right Supreme Court majority might strike down the ACA and that Judge Barrett's judicial philosophy might play a part in that. Quote, what a joke, Senator McConnell said, that Justice Barrett might pose any risk to Americans' health care. I guess Judge Barrett must have been joking when she publicly criticized Justice Roberts for upholding the Affordable Care Act. It must have been with a sarcastic flick of the pen when she wrote that the Supreme Court, quote, would have to invalidate, unquote, the law if it read the statute the way she does. I'll tell you what, this is not a joke to the American people. This is not a joke to the 20 million Americans who could lose their health insurance if the ACA is struck down. Not a joke to the parent of a child who has cancer, who would have to watch helpless as their child suffers if protections for pre-existing conditions are struck down. Not a joke to millions of Americans on Medicare whose drug prices would soar. Not a joke to women across the country who could once again be charged more for insurance than men, denied maternity care, and free access to birth control. The only joke here is the Republican leader's desperate attempt to pretend that his president, his party, and their Supreme Court nominee pose no threat to our nation's health care law. The same Senate leader who did everything he could on the floor of this Senate to repeal the ACA. Now, President Trump said he will pick Supreme Court nominees who will, quote, terminate the Affordable Care Act. His administration is in court right now, suing to eliminate it. Senate Republicans tried to repeal the law and replace it with nothing. The Republican lawsuit against the Affordable Care Act will be heard by the Supreme Court the week after the election. There's a reason that Republicans are scrambling to fill this seat so quickly. And Judge Barrett, when the ACA was challenged in major litigation, twice sided against the law. So if the Republican leader believes that Democrats are raising unfounded fears about health care, will he urge the plaintiffs to drop their lawsuit against the ACA? Will Leader McConnell urge the Justice Department not to spend taxpayer dollars trying to eliminate the taxpayers' health care? Normally, these questions would be rhetorical. But yesterday, I filed a procedural motion that will set up a vote on a bill that will protect the health care of hundreds of millions of Americans and prevent efforts by the Department of Justice, Donald Trump's Department of Justice, to advocate that courts strike down the Affordable Care Act. Leader McConnell and all of my Republicans will have to vote on that shortly. Let me repeat. Leader McConnell and all of my Republican colleagues will have to vote very soon on whether the Senate should consider a bill to protect Americans with pre-existing conditions. And with that vote, we'll see just how much of a joke it is that Senate Republicans and their Supreme Court nominees want to eliminate Americans' health care. I yield the floor.
Under the previous order, the Senate will resume consideration of H.R. Under the previous order, the leadership time is reserved. Under the previous order, the Senate will resume consideration of H.R. 833.